we've come to it. We've come to the day that we record, which is whenever we want.
Whenever we feel like it.
But we're doing it, so that's all that matters. Hi, it's Talk Comics to Me time. I'm Champ. I'm Champ Champenstein.
I'm Heather.
And we're here to talk about comic books. I don't have anything exciting or fun or new or anything, honestly, so...
We are just existing at this point, so bear with us.
We'll all float on, as Modest Mouse says.
Yeah. They do say that.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna start. Okay, I have The Ballad of Ronan. This is issue number 3. This is just a story about an orphan who gets sucked into some mythological world. She doesn't want to, obviously. She's very pissed about it. But she basically ages out of the system in Ireland where this takes place. The only person that really cares about her or who wants to help her at all is the priest who ran the orphanage that she lived in. And he is privy to all sorts of mystical things that are happening. So she gets into a little bit of trouble, and he is trying to help her navigate this whole world. And on the opposite side of the city that she's in, there is I don't know if he's a kid or if he's just like a grown-up, but his name is Ronan, and he is magical. So she has to find him, help him, and in return he helps her get out of the trouble that she is in. So in this issue she finally finds him and makes his acquaintance, and that kind of begins their journey together. So
sounds interesting still.
Yeah, I do like this story a lot. I like a lot of the mythological stuff that is happening in here, and I like that at the end of every issue it gives you a little bit of Irish history, which is very, very cool. It's just really fun to read. As I've said, I think with all the other issues, I don't know how much I like the art. I am still pretty on the fence about it. There's some really good faces that the characters make, which I think is worth it. In the present day, I think I prefer the art less than when they do flashbacks of like when Ronan was young, and that obviously takes place during some sort of medieval period of time. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, I like the story quite a bit, and I'm not sure how many issues there are going to be. It's an Action Lab comic, so I don't know anything about them other than what, Zombie Tramp?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I just realized I'm wearing our shirt while we record this podcast, so that's embarrassing.
No, that's cool. You gotta rep.
It's like wearing your own band t-shirt to play a show. So now I have Batman, Champenstein. I have Batman Killing Time. This is issue number 6. This ends this little 6-issue story. I did not really like this ending. I really feel like the high point was really high, and then it just kind of like fizzled on out. The reveal was somewhat interesting, but yeah, it was just kind of like
anticlimactic.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like a little like cheeky, if I may use that term.
You absolutely can. I love that.
Like the way the turn worked, but I think I don't know. It was 6 issues, which was probably good, but I'm like, maybe it could have just been like 1 less issue or 2 less issues, and could have like packed in a little, because it packed a lot in. But I think it could have like taken some aspects of the story out, like some of the aspects I really enjoyed of it. It probably could have taken them out and like gotten to the point and done the turns a lot quicker, and like still had the point very well done. Like a lot of the narration and like the flipping back and forth through time was really cool, but in the long run it still ended up taking too long. Like by the time I got to the end and like what happened, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that stinks, because I know you did enjoy it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's bad by any means. Like, I did like it. I just did not necessarily like this ending that much. Art was great, though. that is absolutely the truth. I really liked the help. Like, that character was a really interesting bad guy, and his connection to Batman is cool. And so I'm interested to see if they bring that character into there anymore. But yeah, as a whole, I don't know.
So you expected more from it, but wanted less.
Yeah. Yes. Because, like I said, I think if it had taken some aspects of it out, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have, connected things more tightly. I think the problem was, there was a lot of stuff in there and a lot of, flashing back and forth through time that ended up, tying stuff together, but not necessarily, the thread that you want.
Okay.
But maybe it'd be better, in a trade, just reading it real quick, so, maybe the month to month. But it still came out very consistently, so it wasn't, bad in that manner.
That always is very frustrating for me. I've noticed that with several comics that I've read recently that would read better in trade format rather than just one issue at a time. And that's, cool that stories can be like that, but it's just so frustrating.
Yeah. So, it was good. Like I said, I don't know if I can suggest it. I feel like I'd have to suggest it for a very certain person, which I'm sorry to anyone I suggested it to while it was coming out. Because now I feel bad.
You win some, you lose some. It's
fine. It's fine. I knew what I was getting into when I ordered a Tom King Batman book.
That's very fair.
It's I'm either going to love this or I'm going to hate this. So there's no in between. Next we have sort of Azrael. We have a one-shot, and then we have the first issue. They came out on the same day, which honestly I'm not a fan of.
No, I wasn't either. And I didn't like it because I didn't realize that it was essentially just a prelude to this story that's happening. Mm-hmm. I thought the one shot was just going to be hey, here's a quick little just one shot story. So I read the number 1 first and then went back and read the prelude, and I was well, that's confusing. I don't know why they came out on the same day.
Yeah, and I think you can read the first issue without reading the one-shot. Yes. I think the one-shot just, gives you a little bit more information, and I liked both a lot. I really think both are worth reading. And honestly, going into this, I was Azrael, that's a character I don't traditionally really have any for, or, I don't know. I think it's hard to write that character, because it seems very one-dimensional. But these books are both fantastic.
Yeah, they looked really good, and the story was interesting enough that I was I only ordered the first one, but I'm gonna have to add it.
Yeah,
because it is only 6 issues, and I don't know. Yeah, I had no desire to read this character at all, but now I'm okay, the story is actually intriguing.
Yeah, no, for sure, I 100% agree with that. And intriguing is the best way to put it, because you want to see how this character grows through the writer and the artist very much. And there's some really cool panels in there.
How did you describe the art when we were talking about it? I don't remember what you had said.
It reminds me a lot of a manga.
Okay, here, I'm just going to show this page because nothing really
big
happens in it. I don't know if you can see it if you're watching the video. It's the perfect art for this kind of story.
Yeah.
It's done really well.
It kind of reminds me of Trigun, the way he looks.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the movement with the characters. It reminds me a lot of that sort of thing. There's shapes that I really enjoy. It's just very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I enjoy it quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know if you have no desire to read any of this character, maybe you should just try the first issue, because we were in the same boat.
I said, that one shot, I finished that and I was I'm sold. I'm sold on this. And then I read the first issue of the 6-issue series, and I was I am sold on this. I do feel it was weird to not, I'm sure it has to do with everything going on in our world right now with paper shortages, shipping delays, yada, yada, yada. Why they ended up coming out on the same day, because I would have liked, one the week before and then one the next week, just to spread them out, if nothing else. And it would be easier to, sell them to people if they weren't out on the same day.
I agree, because I had to tell several people, you can read this without it, but like it would be fun, like worth it. You know?
It's really good. Trust me on that.
Yeah, and I know we had talked about this before, but I don't remember seeing the one shot when I was ordering.
I don't, and I think it is the thing you were saying where we may have like seen it in previews and just assumed it was the same book.
Yeah,
and so
just like different covers.
Yeah, and didn't order it again, or maybe we thought it was a resolicit, and that's I have no answers for that.
I don't know, but it got my stamp of approval.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, yes. Okay, I have Legion of X. This just.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what just happened. This is issue number 4. And I was actually just thinking about this as we were trying to decide an order. I don't know how much of this has to do with the Judgment Day stuff that's happening. I don't think it doesn't seem like it has anything to do, like it's just its own story. I don't know if it maybe is like way before or what. It was very confusing for me because
that doesn't help when Legion is in X-Men Red, right?
No, it was confusing because I was like, I don't remember it being referenced in here at all.
Let's just say it's beforehand.
Yeah. Then. So Nightcrawler and Weaponless Zen, I believe is what her name is, they are still trying to figure out what happened to the Araco god that went missing. And while this is happening, he's getting laid. A lot. But they're also trying to figure out who the Switch is, who keeps taking over different mutants' bodies and stuff, just like traveling, whatever. You do get to discover what exactly he is, and it was very interesting. I thought that was cool. Loki is in this a little bit. I say a little bit because it has to do with the god that is like taking over people's bodies. And you get to see Nightcrawler without his skin. And by that I mean as a human rather than a mutant. And that has to do with the whole Switch like story and stuff. I really, really liked this issue. I thought it was inquisitive.
Okay.
Yes. You learn a lot in here. So yeah. I still really enjoy this story. I do like it way more than I did like Way of X, which I think is saying something because I did enjoy Way of X quite a bit too. But I like how deep this story gets, the layers to everything that's happening, because there's like 3 or 4 different stories that are happening in here, or like events that are happening.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of making it fluid as one story, because it's a lot of jumping back and forth between like what Zen is doing and what Nightcrawler is doing and stuff. So I really enjoy it. It's a nice little Nightcrawler story. I feel like one I've been waiting for.
Yeah, that's good. I like that for you.
I do too.
Okay, so this is our last books by ourselves, and then we got each other. This is The Vineyard. This is issue number 1. This is a book by Brian Hawkins and Sammy Kevla.
Cavelia.
Yeah,
because the A with the umlauts is always
Okay. Jason Wordie and Taylor Esposito. This is just a story about a family vineyard where to be successful they must make sacrifices to Dionysus, and that's just what this is about. It's about family, human sacrifices, and Dionysus.
The selfishness of gods.
So there's a lot going on here, but not a lot, but a lot at the same time. I really liked the flow of the first issue. I like the family dynamic. I'm expecting a fun little horror romp.
Yeah, I made it about halfway through the book, and I am going to go back and read it because I did like what I had read. There was just so much going on while I was trying to read it. And I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to finish it because I was interested in what was happening.
I think it's a book you would really enjoy. And the art, like I really like the art a lot, and like I said, the story was just really interesting, and I'm interested. It like definitely drew me in to be like, okay, so like what's gonna happen? I see the pieces you're putting here. Like
the family dynamic was pretty interesting while I was reading it. It was very strange.
And I think it, like, I don't know how far you got.
I think literally halfway through.
Okay, because, like, the introduction of the sister, that was, like, where it's like, okay, weird. Yeah, same. So, be cool to see what happens.
Could be a fun little aftershock horror.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read, like, one... And since I've worked there, that I haven't liked in one way or another. Their horror stories.
It's hard. I still think it's like hard to find out. Like, I feel like they had more solid books a few years ago. I feel like it's been like a little bit of a stumble to find books of theirs I've been like truly enjoying.
Right.
But this is one. I think that Brother of All Men is an aftershock book. So
that one was really good. I need to remember to get that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. A couple horror books. So good. Very good. So next we have Batman. This is 126. We learn about Failsafe. And Batman calls on all of his child soldiers to help him.
He needs help from his groomed children. And then in the second half of the story, Catwoman is doing some investigation to figure out all of Penguin's children. Yeah. For reasons.
I like the backup. I like the main story. I don't know. It's just still like Batman though.
Yeah,
it looks great.
That's literally me.
I like the feel of it a lot, like just the way the story goes. But yeah, it's still Batman Bros.
Yeah, this issue is relentless. Like it keeps. I don't know how else to explain it. Like you start reading it and it just keeps going the whole time. Which I think is good for a Batman book because I wasn't bored of it while reading it. And I know that a lot of Batman, since I've been reading Batman for a while, like this era, I guess, of Batman, there were several issues where I was just like kind of bored. But the last one and this one, like, has just been nonstop. And I think that's good for a Batman story because it doesn't give you time to just think about it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It does do a lot of the exposition and like what's happening in the story. Like, wow, like this like being just chased after. It's the Terminator. Like,
yeah.
Like getting chased after the Terminator.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're really not.
Felt good to make a Terminator reference.
Yeah, I love that.
So this is DC vs. Vampires. This is issue number 8. We have about 4 more issues till the end, and I think this issue really sets us up for the end game of the story. Everybody is going to the places to try to defeat the vampires, do what they think they can do.
Yeah, there's 3 different groups that they all essentially have the same goal in mind, but they're trying different ways.
Yeah.
So this was my favorite page, by the way.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I love this art. I love vampire stories. This is another one that is just continuously like fascinating to me because of all the different things they're doing.
Yeah, I like this issue a lot. I think I had said last time, like, the thing about every issue is just, like, it's just, like, ends on, like, a note where I'm just like,
Yeah.
But this one kind of ends, like, on a more, I guess, hopeful note. Rather than just, like, stealing that hope away from me, like, immediately.
That is a good way of putting it.
Because I think, like, yeah, like you said, the issues have been relentless, and I feel like that's kind of how they've been relentless, where I'm just like, then it's like, no, you're not even kidding. And it's like, well, I know that, like, it's almost impossible, but just like, let me like have a little moment of like,
give me a kernel of hope.
It's you can only be beaten down so many times before it's just like, this is too much.
I don't know, I think that's one of the things that I wouldn't say like about it, but I think it's a good perspective, especially with this kind of story, because I like that the vampires actually took over. Like they won.
Yeah,
I like seeing...
I don't mind that. I just think that it's just like, even then,
it's a bummer.
Yeah,
it's a bummer reading it sometimes because it's like, well, what are you guys gonna do? The vampires won. Like, what do you expect? Just go into hiding, stay there.
Doesn't matter anymore. Would definitely suggest this. It's a really fun book. You don't think it's gonna be as fun as it is, and that's really good.
That's how I feel a lot about the DC horror obviously Deceased is coming out and I can't stop reading it.
Okay, we're gonna move on. This is Golden Rage. This is issue number 1. This is just a little story about some older women who are, I almost said castrated, but that's not the word I'm
not
looking
quite,
for.
no.
Cast off into an island and with no way out.
It's like a retirement island.
Yeah.
It was...
But forced retirement island only for older women.
Mm-hmm.
Or so you think. And it seems as though they are, like, warring.
It reminded me of, like, that movie The Hunt, where they're all, like, sent off and they're being hunted down, except it's old women and they adapt.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this much more than I thought I was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially since you're just kind of thrown into it with the main character who doesn't feel like she should be there at all. So it's like the mystery behind why is she there? What is she going to do? How is she going to get out of it? Like, I liked that part of it. It was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. No, it was really good too. I don't have much more to say about it because it was just like, I think
it was a really good introductory like issue because again it gave you like the mystery of it and it kept you like, well, now I need to know what happens. Like I need to know the story of what is happening.
Yeah. And why.
Yeah. It was good. If you like old ladies, then I think it would be a good story for you.
Okay, so next we have Aquaman.
We're having a great time talking today.
Andromeda, issue number 2. It's by Ram V and Christian Ward. And this is just like the abyss or the sphere.
Yeah, I like that you said that because the other day Julian asked me, like I told him I finished reading it and he was like, what did it remind you of? I was like, I don't know, an Aquaman story? I was like, I don't know what you're asking. And he's like, well, Champ said this, like the abyss and sphere. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, now that you mention it, yeah, that's exactly what it reminds me of. I didn't even think about it when I was like, after I had read it. But yeah, it's very much like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when I was reading this issue very specifically with just like the narration, the journal entries. There's that other movie with Sam Neill. It's like...
Is it the space one?
Yeah, the space one. Why am I...
Event Horizon?
Yeah, it feels kind of like that in its own way, too.
That was where my mind went.
It's like just think of all of those types of movies put together.
As an Aquaman story.
As an Aquaman story.
That's actually an interesting fact about me. That movie is why I'm not into like space things. Because when I saw that, I was so terrified, and that's still one of the only movies that like gives me the willies to this day. Like I can't, it freaks me out. I don't like it. I mean, I like it, like it's a really good movie, but it scares me.
Yeah, it's also really bad though too.
Oh yeah, no, it is. But like when I watched it, I was like 9.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and so that like set the tone for me in space things.
I was scared of like the X-File music and the kid at the end for like most of my life.
You know, I get it.
Just because
things are scary.
Yeah, sometimes the X-Files were scary, and those were the music, and then the kid who's like, I made that, or like somehow the scariest parts that I took out.
Because like, why is that innocent kid talking after this terrifying thing? Like, it's confusing, it's scary, but these are things that scared Champ and I as children, if you want to know.
And that was Aquaman Andromeda.
Yes.
A really great Aquaman story that I'm very excited to see how like they end it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that is something I do like about the DC Black Label books. There's gonna be 3 issues, by the way, and that's what I like about them is like they're the perfect length for stories. Like especially I think this one is really, really good because the team, you know, Ram and Christian Ward, it's just they work really well together, I think, for this type of story. So.
Yeah, it definitely fits perfectly, for sure. Okay, so next we have Poison Ivy. This is issue number 3. This just kind of continues Ivy's mission to kill everybody on Earth, but she's having like her doubts.
Her dilemma.
Yeah, which, you know, I think more than makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how this delves into the problems that she is having with justifying what she is doing.
Because, yeah, I feel like it seems like it would be something like, I don't want to say that. That sounds really bad.
Well, now you have to.
Well, I was going to say I can see, like, where she's coming from, and I understand, like, wanting to kill everybody, and I understand that, like, internal struggle because you're not, like, yeah, it sounds bad when I'm saying it out loud. Like, of course, like, I would kind of empathize with an eco-fascist and be like,
right.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that's why this story is so interesting. And that's the word of the day.
Intriguing.
Intriguing, yes. Is because she does a really good job of giving you both sides of it. Like, again, making you feel empathy for her because of something that happened to her. Like, they just do a really good job with that Poison Ivy characterization, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's really great. I really do like that story a lot. I think it's worth reading. Yeah, I do like that, like, in-depthness of it. Like, yeah.
It is. It is really good, and the art's really good, and it's a very solid story so far. We're 3 issues in, so we still have time to change our minds.
Yeah, I think isn't it supposed to be only, like, 5 or something?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know why sometimes DC books will say, 3 of 6 or whatever, and then sometimes they won't, even though they're limited series. I wish that it was more consistent, but that's just me.
Okay, so next we have Immortal X-Men. This is issue number 5, and this is a tie-in to Judgment Day. This is basically Exodus, kind of his viewpoint of everything that's been going on, flashes back and forth of his past and his present. That's really it.
Yeah, that's it. And it kind of, the present takes place, like, as the Judgment Day starts.
Yeah, like
so
that
it's
very initial,
yeah,
like, psychic attack.
Yeah. I damaged my book too, apparently, but that is no surprise. I mean, I've been really enjoying Immortal X-Men. I feel like each issue, it kind of focuses on one specific character within the Quiet Council, and I like that.
Yeah, and I like this issue a lot too, just because I think Exodus is an interesting character I don't know a lot about. So I don't feel like going back, learning anything, and that just gave me a little, like, fun. I don't know if that's real history of X-Men stuff, but I don't care.
And I'm sure you liked seeing Apocalypse.
I did like seeing Apocalypse, even though he's just like, I fucking hate that dude.
Yeah.
That dude is shit. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
But yeah, from his perspective, it like makes sense.
And Apocalypse is kind of a shit. I don't know. It doesn't make sense that I like him so much. But
well, because again, with like all of the growth and the background and stuff on certain characters, you got to know him a lot more during the beginning of the Hickman X-Men. You know, it's just good. It's just good.
Okay, so next we both have X-Men Red. This is also issue number 5. I don't have mine because I let somebody borrow all of my issues. But this is also a Judgment Day tie-in. This tells you everything that was happening on Mars when everything initially happened. So Uranus, right? That's who it was. Has come to Mars, and he has an hour to just ruin the day. And he does.
Oh my god, yeah, he goes wild. He goes no
ham,
mercy. It's probably one of my favorite issues that I've read.
Yeah, and it was just so intense. Just like everything that happened in that issue, like all of the beats were just like fuck. Oh shit.
Again, relentless.
Yeah.
It just. Because again, it takes place over the course of an hour, but like a majority of the issue is the first like 15 minutes. So it's like when you try to imagine being there and like witnessing all of it, so much happens. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. I think all of these Judgment Day issues have been very, very solid so far. So yeah, I'm excited to get more of the series and see what happens. I'm definitely hyped after this issue.
Yeah,
there's just like this puts a lot of pieces in play that we didn't have in play before. I'm trying not to spoil this for anybody right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like with that first issue of Judgment Day, Sorry.
You're fine.
It just helps seeing what all is happening in different places, because in Judgment Day you just got like Nightcrawler just coming in being like, it was a massacre, but not knowing like what happened, and I think that made it harder to I don't know, be a part of it. Like it felt very like,
okay, because you knew everybody was gonna basically die.
Yeah. It felt very like not a part of the story. Like they didn't care. Like it didn't matter type of thing. And this really just brings it around and like explains more, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say, though.
No,
yeah. Impersonal.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, so next we have Moon Knight. This is issue number 14. This is just Mark having a discussion with his other personalities while he is in a fight. Him realizing that he needs everybody.
Which it was a good issue. It's just, it suffers from that problem that we have been discussing, where it's just like by the end of every issue, it's just like, okay, like, give me more. Like, I just want more from it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I finished this issue. I actually left it for last because I was not looking forward to it.
I think I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah, I'm definitely over it. I probably, like I said to you earlier, I will probably be taking it off my pull, which is disappointing because I really like the art, and it's just like, I feel like I don't know if there's little glimmers there, but it's just not well enough written to like make me want to keep reading it. Like this could have been a really intriguing issue, but the discussion just felt very bland.
Yeah. I think this is one, like, we're 14 issues in, but we could have done all of this in 7.
And even then, it's just like, I feel like I should care about like Moon Knight and Mark and like everything that's happening, but I don't. Like, it's unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunate that I don't like it. I wish I did.
There are aspects of it that are very enjoyable, but it's dragging, and there's no reason for it to be.
Okay, so next is Stillwater. This is issue number 14.
We're in the last story arc.
Yeah,
so
I don't know how many issues are left, so we'll see. It can't be too many. I'm ready for the story to wrap up. It's kind of just, I feel like this is a common thread throughout all of these books this week. It's just kind of dragged on for no reason, where it's like they could have moved the story a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the art, but it's not... I like the first story arc a lot more than I've liked everything following it.
Right. Yeah, and this one, the final story arc, which seems weird, honestly, they're expanding the immortality so that they can move. Because they've been stuck in Stillwater for 40 years,
40
something
years.
like that. Yeah, so they discovered a way to expand the border so that the immortality moves. Which, okay, it's like fine, but again, it's weird that it's happening in the last story arc.
Yeah.
Where there's probably 4 issues left.
Yeah,
something like that.
And this could have happened. They could have done this a while ago, and it would have been fine. I think
the whole last story arc seems almost pointless. Like nothing in regards to what happened in the first one, and then what's happening in this one. Nothing really happened.
Stuff happened, but didn't happen.
Yeah, it wasn't significant. I don't know. It's good, though.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Little Monsters. This is what we got next. This is number 6.
This is number 6. This is vampire kids discovering humans still exist and they don't have to feed off of animals anymore.
And I don't know. Part of me feels like this is limited just the way this issue goes, but I can't figure this out.
No,
so.
It's weird. And I do like this story a lot, but it does suffer from what everyone else has. It's nothing. I want more from it. I do like it. I am going to continue reading it. I'm curious. It's for me, it's a very solid story. I like the art and stuff, but it's just what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
I like the art a lot.
Yeah, the art is really great. And I do, I'm I think in the same boat as you. I enjoy it, but I need to, come on, let's get there. Like, you've kind of introduced each of the kids, and then you've kind of, like, stepped back from that, and, yeah, it's just...
We got backgrounds on some of them, but not all of them, and, like, where's Dad? Like, yeah. It's a fun little vampire read, and it is enjoyable, but maybe I'm just expecting too much from books. Like, maybe next issue I'm just going to go in, just no thoughts, just vampires, and just see how that goes, because I feel like I'm being too critical with some books, especially, you know, ones like this, where it's like, this is all it's supposed to be. Like, it's not going to be a life-changing story by any means. It's just a vampire story. Like, just fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. So next we have Twig. This is issue number 4?
Mm-hmm. This is a life-changing story.
Yeah, this is a life-changing story. This is Twig just continuing his adventure, where we last left him off in issue number 3. He had to collect the heart of a horned beast. He finds out that most of the horned beasts have been murdered except for one.
It's that one. Yeah. That one killed me.
And so the beginning starts out with a little conversation with the horned beast, which was fairly, like, heartbreaking for both of them. But I love this. I love this book so much, like, so much.
Honestly, I think Scotty Young is one of my favorite writers at this point.
For sure.
He does a really good job of taking these, like, fairly innocent stories and giving them so much depth and making them heavier than they have any right to be. And it's just relatable in a way, even though I've never had this sort of thing happen to me. You know, like, it just... Yeah. The way that he builds the characters and stuff and has their minds work, it's just... He is really good at making stories.
It reminds me a lot of, like, Don Bluth movies.
Okay, I can see that,
like,
yeah.
Because just, like, the way the stories are written, even, like, the art to its own extent, like, reminds me of, like, that sort of, like, cartoonery. Not really, but...
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's what really sticks with me, is, like, because it makes me think about, like, those sorts of movies that I really loved when I was a kid, but, like, as you go back and as an adult and watch them, just, like, they're so, like, gut-wrenching and, like, magical and, like, meaningful. Like, they're all of these things just wrapped up into a nice little package and given to you, and it's like, yeah, it's just such an enjoyable story, and I'm every time an issue comes out, I'm just so glad and so worried. Yeah. I'm just like, no! And I know that, like, it's gonna have to have its moment, like, of both sides.
There's always a life-changing event that happens within it, and I don't want to see what it is. It's because I know it's just gonna break me, because every story that we've read of his has been like that, where there's one moment where you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. So I'm there. Like, I'm there with you with Scotty Young. He's, like, one of my favorite writers. Like, there's definitely several of his books that, like, I don't know, Middle West will probably stick with me for, like, the rest of my life. Like, I can't think about that book without, like, getting a little weepy in myself.
And I think, honestly, that's where it started for me. Like, just him being one of my favorite writers, because he took that story and changed my life. He's just really, really good. And this story is super solid. And it's 6 issues.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 issues.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I saw.
I feel like that's what it was too. But yeah, we'll get back to you on, like, when it comes to an end, and we will discuss our trauma from it.
Yeah, this book, I think, is going to just emotionally wreck me in some way, even if it's happy. Okay, so we have The Closet. This is issue number 3. This wraps up this little horror story, little family horror. This book was, I think, the next 2 books, Once and Future and this, I'm going to ruin a little bit. So I'm just going to say, spoiler, if you want to read either The Closet number 3 or Once and Future number 28. Just stop it here and come back. The end of this book fucked me right on up.
Yeah.
You find out the monster in his closet has been a shadow of his dad that he saw when his dad was sneaking into his closet to look at pictures of the woman he was having an affair with. And you kind of learn that everything's all of his nightmares and things have kind of been stemming from the arguments that his parents have been having.
Yeah, it fucked. I know we had this conversation the other night when we were talking about it, but it's crazy how, like, you don't think about certain things when you're young and, like, the truth of them. You only see, like, how it appears at first, and it's scary. It can be scary, and if you don't understand, like, what's going on, that, like, changes your perspective on, like, not just people, but, like, places too. So
yeah, and I think this, like, yeah, this really brings it up. Like I said, it kind of like triggered my own memories of shit like that, where I was just like, oh
yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's not what I was looking forward to right now. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking was gonna happen at the end, honestly. But it was not this.
No, not at all. Not at all. I was expecting, like, I don't know, like a Monsters, Inc. type situation where, like,
I was expecting an actual monster as well,
no,
where I was
exactly.
like, all right, it's cool, terrifying monsters exist in this world, like, and terrifying monsters do exist in this world, and sometimes they're the people we're related to, and I think that's, like, the worst part is, like, I don't know.
Well, and it's also, like, you don't realize that as an adult, like, as a parent, you don't realize that the things that you do shape your child, and you don't realize how it traumatizes them, because, I don't know, you raising your voice not in anywhere near your kid, they can just, like, hear it, how that, like, can fuck them up.
And just, like, the emotions and that and that tension that can be there. Yeah, it's just, it was really good. I really suggested 3 issues, so it's not too much, and it hits. Every issue hits fucking just solid as shit. Like, I don't think I've read something that's, like, 3 issues and been, like, just this utterly good. Like, where it explains everything. The story arc is solid. Like,
childhood trauma is a thing.
Yeah.
And it fucks with you.
Yeah.
I just want to show the cover again, just because this is what you... Oh, my greasy hands. This is what we had talked about the other night. Like, every time I would walk by the wall, like, it just, just a really, really good story. And for only 3 issues, like,
yeah, it is like, what the fuck? How did you just, like, how did you do this so well?
They had no right. They had absolutely no right to do that to me, to us.
Yeah, the art too, and just, like, the art and the story just fit together so well. Yeah, perfect little story.
Nice little spooky story about childhood trauma. Cute.
Okay, so last we have Once and Future. This is issue number 28. A couple more issues to the end.
I'm sad, but also not ready.
Yeah, I'm
not ready in the sense that, like, I'm not ready to see what they're going to do, but I'm ready to get to the end.
Yeah, that is the best way to describe it. And I think this one, like, this issue ended in such a jaw-dropping moment where things didn't go to plan.
We lose a main character
here in a very, very, very brutal way.
It is sudden, it is shocking, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is the thing, is it was just so sudden, so shocking, and, like, I'm just really curious how it plays out, because I don't think, I mean, I'm curious to see how Duncan reacts more than anything, because I think that is, like, a linchpin in the story right now, and we'll see.
Yeah, it's I will say, still 28 issues later, this is probably my favorite story, my favorite comic. It's just done so well. Champ actually made a good point earlier, which I hadn't really connected, for 28 issues, how each issue kind of ends the way, like, a chapter in a book does. I don't know why I had never thought of it like that before, because it's like there's things that happen, and then it's always, like, the last page or two where the big thing happens to propel it into the next part. So I love that. I think that is very cool. This is just such a good story.
Yeah. I'm also excited. I'm, like, just don't know. I think that's the thing, is, like, this is a story where I haven't really thought about the ending. Like, even though I know know it would end.
Well, it's just, there's so many moving stories in here, and like some of them
literally,
like, yeah, and we've gotten to the end of a lot of these like tales. Like this one ends a specific story that had been started at the beginning, so there's so many different parts that are going right now, and I'm curious to see which story is going to end the story. It's just, it's really good.
It's really good.
We love it.
That's all we got.
We did that really fast.
Yeah. I know you got places to go, things to do, people to see.
I got so many people to see.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Go support your local comic book shops, buy some comic books, support your local libraries and friends. We will actually get posting on our Patreon. This week was actually just surprisingly busy.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. We have some ideas for episodes that we will be doing. I did come up with more, by the way.
Okay.
So we will get started on those as soon as we can and let you know the deets.
So thanks for supporting us, and we'll see you on the flippity flip. We love you.